What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiance Love in Paradise Season 4, Episode 3, A Rough Landing. So let's get started with Adriano and Alex. So Alex's cousin, who's been traveling throughout Europe, decides to stop by and pay them a visit. Okay, so they all go out to eat, and while they're at dinner, the cousin asks Adriano if he's going to be praying over the food or if he's going to say grace. And he says he's not a believer, so no, he does not pray. So the cousin asks Alex if she's okay with the fact that she's dating a man who is not a believer. And, how does that make her feel? Because Alex herself, religion is very important to her. So what does it say about the future of their relationship? Alex says that she is okay with it for now, but later she's going to have, she might have an issue with it. Then they talk about threesomes. The cousin asks Adriano if he is going to want to have threesomes forever. Adriano says that when you have a third person involved in your intimate relationship, it brings the two main people of the relationship even closer together. Okay, that's what he believes. We can't take that away from him. I just wish that he would have said more about that, to kind of like explain himself and help us understand exactly what he's talking about when he says that. I can kind of see where he's coming from with that, like you add a third person into your relationship or into your bedroom, and it makes the time that you spend with your significant other alone, just the two of you, maybe even more better or even more precious. It makes that time that you have together, it gives it more quality when y'all are, just the two of you together. So I kind of see where he's going, but I really wish that he would have, explained that a little bit more. So the cousin asked, she asked her cousin Alex, how much does it bother you that he really wants to do this threesome on a scale of 1 to 10? And Alex says it's a full-on 10 for her. The next day, Adriano and Alex go to like a pizza place to make their own pizzas. And as we're sitting down having dinner, Alex wants to address a few of the things that they really differ on, like a couple of things that are really, really important, but they probably are not in agreement with. The first thing that she brings up is religion. She talks about because of religion, she is the sweet, lovable, nice person that Adriano fell in love with. And it's, she's this way because, she's a religious person, because she has God in her life. Adriano counter argues and says, you being sweet and nice and lovable has nothing to do with religion. This is just who you are. If you were not a religious person, you would still be sweet and lovable. So then she says something like, are you trying to say that, me being religious is stupid, or my religion is stupid? And I'm like, girl, I didn't hear him say anything about religion being stupid, or I didn't hear anything. He wasn't, to me, at least, maybe I misread him, but I did not think that he said anything extremely derogatory or offensive about religion, because some people can get real down and dirty with it when they talk about how God doesn't exist and there's no proof of God existing. And, if there is a God, then why do bad things happen? And how can you believe in something that you've never seen and never touched? Some people can get really rude when it comes to spirituality and religion. But I think that he's probably explaining more why he doesn't believe in it when he questioned, why she believed in it. I didn't think that he was being disrespectful, because I never heard him say the word stupid or imply that anything that she believed in was stupid. Then they talked about race relations. So she tells him that if we were to have children, our children would be black. And how would you feel if they go to school or something and other kids point out that they're different because of their race? And she says to him, the way you talk to me about it when I tell you that I experienced something negative regarding my race. You just tell me to suck it up. But I'm an adult, and that still hurts my feelings when you tell me that. So when we have children, how are you going to address this to our child? Because I don't want you to tell them just to suck it up. And he said something about how, he would want to raise his children to ignore that kind of negativity, not to give it any energy, and basically just to kind of like, don't let it affect you. If someone calls you out of your name because of your race, or says a racial slur to you, or treats you in a discriminatory way, just don't give it any energy, which is, all good and dandy. But a child is going to feel some kind of way, because for children, it's so different. A lot of children, they are not, they don't have it in them to be racist or prejudiced or whatever. So when they experience it for the first time, especially as a minority child, people that you think saw you as their equal, and that they didn't see a difference in you, or that the difference that they did see was nothing negative. You think that you're being accepted by your friends or your classmates or your peers. And then something happens where you realize, wait a minute, they don't see me like them. I am different from them. They're noticing that I'm different. And what makes me different from them, they're seeing it as a negative thing. You need to sit down and have a conversation with your children about what they're feeling and what they're experiencing. You can't tell your child, oh, just let it go. Don't give it any energy. Don't worry about it. Just, ignore it. You can't do that, because those feelings that come up, especially when you're a child, when your peers are letting you know you're not the same as us, there's something wrong with you, you're different, and because you're different, we don't see you the same. That's painful. Okay. That is extremely painful. So she said that, he's going to have to learn how to acknowledge what it means to live, the Black experience. And I thought she made an extremely good point. I think that interracial couples need to have these discussions if they plan on having children. This is very, very important. I don't know what's going on in the rest of the world, but here in America, if you're going to have biracial or interracial children, you can't, I don't think you can like sugarcoat racism and prejudice and all these things that they may be experiencing. You can't sugarcoat it. You can't act like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Just ignore it and move on. Those feelings are going to be woken up, and they're going to be painful, and they're going to make your child look at themselves differently. It's going to say something. It's going to do something to their self-esteem. So the parents need to have a discussion. If this does happen, if this does come up and our child comes home to us and say, hey, I was called this, or I was treated a certain way because of that, or my teacher made me feel some kind of way because of my color, or because of my race or my ethnicity, and they come to you, you need to be like a hero for your child, and make them feel better, and have a conversation with them, and deal with it, and make sure that issue is addressed by whoever caused that feeling in your child. Because I have stories. So that had happened to me. I had come from we have moved from like a very, I guess you could say like a Black part of town, or I came from like a Black school, or a very culturally diverse school, and we have moved into an area where I was the only Black kid. Okay, I was the only Black kid, or I was one of 2 Black kids in the whole entire grade level. And one day we were out on the playground, and a child, a kid in my class or whatever, called me the N-word. And coming from a Black school in a Black neighborhood or culturally diverse part of town, I've never, ever experienced that. So when that kid called me the N-word, and I came home and I told my parents about it, my dad was upset. My dad was not like, oh, don't give it any energy, just ignore it. My dad went to the school. My dad talked to the teacher, the principal. He got down to the bottom of it. He made sure that kid's parents knew exactly what he did, and he made sure that was never going to happen again. So, honey, yeah, you need to have a discussion. Adriana, if you want to stay with Alex, you want to have kids with her, you need to listen to her and take this stuff very, very seriously, because it will rock your child's world. And like I said, it will do something to their self-esteem, and they'll look at themselves differently. But then you can fix that. You can reverse that. You can help them become stronger if you handle it the right way. Moving on to Kyle and Annie. So Annie is hoping that Kyle will make the decision to stop this sperm donation thing, and she really wants him to stop the natural donation. So she decides to go out on another date with him. He shows up dressed a little bit more appropriately. He has on jeans and a t-shirt, so she's really happy about that. And so they talk about like how life is going to be like if they do decide to stay together and they have children in the future. Like, what kind of future does Kyle envision with Annie? And he says, well, I see us doing a lot of traveling. And I think Annie was like, so we're going to do about our kids if we travel a lot. You know, you can't just leave your kids behind and, you know, go about your business. And he said, oh, we'll just put them in the crib and they'll be fine, or whatever. He said, he was like, really, you know, trying to be funny about it. And Annie said something like, you know, he doesn't understand, you know, all the work that goes into raising children. And she said that, you know, with someone who's had over 70 kids, you would think that he would know better. Okay, girl, but he's not raising these 70 kids. Okay, he's just making his donation or his deposit and he's going about his business. He's not sticking around to see these children come into the world or raise them. So I don't know why you would think he would know any better. So then he tallies up all the points that she's earned for the day, and all of the points that she earned granted her or awarded her one kiss from him. And she actually went along with this. She actually went along with this. I would have been like, okay, you know what? You're still doing this point stuff. You don't want to stop your natural donation. I'm out of here. But she decided to actually stick around for this kiss that he thinks that she's been, you know, waiting with bated breath for. So he's like, okay, you earned a kiss. You've been a good girl. You ate healthy. You dressed nice, or whatever he said, whatever she did to garner her all these points. So then he goes, it's time for the kiss. And it was just so awkward and embarrassing and cringy. It was more embarrassing and cringy than watching Tim kiss Louisa on 90 Day Fiance The Single Life. It was more embarrassing than that. And so they do this really awkward kiss. They don't know what the hell they're doing. It was awful. So the next day, Annie takes him shopping and he wants to buy clothes in extra small size. She's like, no, I think you should get a medium. He's like, no. I want an extra small because I want my clothes to fit really tight so that you can see, you know, see my physique and also see my man bits. So this is where I forgot if it was him or her. One of them tells us that, you know, Carl is really well endowed. So he wants to make sure that the best thing that he's got to offer anyone, you know, is very accentuated and can be seen through his pants. So she buys him the clothes. He looked okay. You know, he did look okay with the extra small clothes. I didn't see anything really eye-catching that he wanted us to notice. But maybe I wasn't looking hard enough. I don't know. So then they sit down and they have a conversation once again about his sperm donation. And he thinks it's because Kyle, okay, so she makes a point to tell us that he is moving really slow when it comes to intimacy with the two of them. And she tells him that it's really important for her and him to be intimate because that helps a woman fall in love with a man if they can connect intimately. And so she wants to know, like, when is this going to happen? Like, what's going on? I need to know what you're like in bed. And she thinks that the reason why he's postponing them having sex is because he wants their relationship, because he's having sex with so many women out there trying to impregnate the whole world, that he wants this relationship with Annie to be different, to be separate and apart from what he does for his hobby, a living, or whatever. So, of course, you know, he's down with sleeping with her. And so then she's like, you know, I need to know before this relationship goes any further that you are going to stop with the donation. I need you to stop that. I need you to choose this over that. And he's like, man, I don't know what you want me to say, Annie. And so when he wouldn't confirm with her, he wouldn't tell her what she wanted to hear, she got up and she left and she walked away. Now, I'm a dum-dum. I'm naive, right? I'm thinking, I'm believing him when he says he's doing this for free. He's doing all of this sperm donation for free. But somebody in my comments was like, girl, wake up and smell the coffee. This man is not doing it for free. He is definitely getting paid. That's probably the only incentive that he has in continuing to do this. He's probably getting paid a pretty good penny because the money is going directly to him, because this is like, one-on-one type of donation. It's not through a clinic. So it's just him and the woman. They're exchanging services for money. So He's probably getting paid a really pretty penny, and he talks about it being a donation on television because he doesn't want Uncle Sam to find out about it. He doesn't want to have to report any of this to Uncle Sam. And I was like, you know what? Why didn't I see that? Why didn't I put two and two together and figure that out on my own? Exactly. That's the only thing that would make sense, that would keep this man doing what he's doing and having all of these children and impregnating all of these women. It's not a hobby. It's not any kind of like a psychological or mental satisfaction impregnating women or having all this sex. It's just the fact that he's making really damn good money with what he's doing. He probably charges less than what the clinics charge, but as a solo dolo businessman, he's probably getting paid a whole lot of money for it. So I'm like, yeah, thank you, whoever said that, for enlightening me. Moving on to Shawn and Aaliyah. Shawn, go home. Go home, Shawn. Go home. It's over. Whatever you had going on with Douglas is over. Douglas has left the building. Aaliyah is here, and she is here to stay. Go home, Shawn. If you're not into femininity or trans women or girls or whatever, go home. This is not going to work out, because watching y'all constantly go back and forth about Douglas becoming Aaliyah and you struggling with that, it's getting old. Okay, it's episode 3 and I'm tired of it. It's not going to change. Now, Aaliyah, we saw the clip for next week's episode where she's going to want to have surgery. She wants to have surgery to make her body more feminine. Shawn, go home. If this is not what you're into, you are missing masculine Douglas. Go home. So Shawn is looking through a adventure book that Aaliyah had put together, and it's just pictures of all the places that they've been to, and he's going through it all, and he's feeling really sad because he misses Douglas. And he looks at the pictures of Douglas and him together, and he's like, look at Douglas, look how handsome he was and how masculine he was. Shawn, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you sitting up here going down memory lane, looking at what you used to have, not struggling with accepting with what you got now? Just go be with a man. I know the feelings are still there and it's hard to turn them off, and you feel like, your heart is broken, but instead of constantly reminding Aaliyah of whom Aaliyah used to be and how you missed that, just end it all. And both of you go your separate ways. So anyway, they go on a romantic date. He brings, gives her a gift, this necklace. And then he brings up the adventure book. He's like, yeah, I was going through the adventure book, and, I was looking back at all the pictures of us together when you used to be Douglas. And Aaliyah says, well, I'm going to start a new adventure book. She goes, I'm going to cut out all those damn pages of Douglas, and I'm going to start a new adventure book with, you and Aaliyah, you and me, the way I am now. Shawn says that, you know what, I'm just as invested in Douglas as I am in Aaliyah. And Aaliyah says, Douglas is in the past. You need to get it together. Douglas is in the past. It is no more. Douglas is dead. Aaliyah is here now. And Aaliyah goes further on to explain to Shawn that I've always been Aaliyah. Okay, Douglas was what I had to present to the world because I get tired of having to fight my family and fight people. And so it was just easier for that moment in my life just to go along to get along, just present myself as a boy and masculine, because it's tiring to constantly have to fight people. And so I was afraid to be myself, but Douglas was not the real me. I have always been Aaliyah. Now the real me is here. Douglas was a facade. Douglas was fake. The real me now is here. So Shawn talks about how he likes and misses the old, quiet, reserved Douglas. And Aaliyah tells us in her confessional, why did he like the part of me that was too scared to, live in my truth? He keeps talking about Douglas and in love with Douglas and missing Douglas, but that was a part of my life when I was living in fear. I was too scared to really be who I am. Why does he love that part of me? And Aaliyah's making some great points. I'm not here to say if any of this is wrong or right, whatever good about. I'm not here to say that. All I'm here is I see someone who is now happy. They're happy in who they are and how they're living their life. They're happy. And why would you want them to be anything other than their true self? And so, And then also sometimes I think, well, what if, because also Aaliyah tells Shawn, even though I look different on the outside, I'm still the same person that she fell in love with. But then again, I wonder if Shawn wanted to be more feminine. Would Aaliyah accept that? Because it seems like Aaliyah is attracted to masculine men. So would Aaliyah accept Shawn if Shawn also wanted to transition and become more feminine? Would Aaliyah be like, it's okay, I'm still going to be attracted to you because I'm attracted to your soul and your personality, not your outside, not your exterior. So maybe if Aaliyah looked at it that way, maybe they can understand how Shawn feels, just to be more sympathetic with Shawn and try to help Shawn in this grieving process of losing Douglas. Instead of telling Shawn, get with the program, I'm Aaliyah now, forget about Douglas. Shawn is grieving the loss of his boyfriend. And maybe if Aaliyah looked at it that way, like if the shoe was on the other foot, if, Shawn wanted to be a woman and I'm attracted to men, would I still be wanting to be in a relationship? So maybe if Aaliyah looked at it that way, she'd be more sympathetic with what Shawn is going through and help him through this, grieving process. Because that's exactly what Shawn is doing. He is grieving. When he was looking at that adventure book and, crying and stuff, he is grieving like, Douglas died, which in fact, that's exactly what happened. Moving on to Luke and Maline. Oh my goodness. Am I ready to talk about Luke and Maline? Exhaust the hell out of me. Yeah, it's time to talk about Luke and Maline. Okay, Luke has to take Madeline. Okay, so Luke is broke, right? He lost his job. All he's living off is his retirement. Not his retirement. His retirement and his savings or whatever. So he can't take her to all the fancy, expensive places that they normally go to whenever he visits her in Colombia. So he's going to take her to a coffee farm, something inexpensive and hopefully fun and whatever. So on their way there, he is talking about his sunglass business. Now, he tells us that he has invested $30,000 in total into his sunglass business. And what makes the sunglasses so unique is that you wear them around your neck and they're foldable. And when you fold them, they can look like a medallion around your neck. So like a fashion piece. And so he folded it and it looked like folded up, crumpled up sunglasses. It did not look like a medallion. So, I mean, I don't know how you're going to convince young people, trendy people who are on the cusp of fashion to wear sunglasses around their neck. Like, there's somebody's 85-year-old grandmother with her reading glasses on her pearl chain. So I don't know. It didn't look like a medallion to me. So Luke thinks that his business is going to take off. He has a lot of faith in this sunglass company and he thinks it's about to take off. He's going to make a whole lot of money. And he wants Madeline to understand in order to make a lot of money, you have to spend a lot of money. And that's why he has spent so much in this business. And so he tells her that out of his $20,000 in his retirement fund, he has spent half of that to buy 300 sunglasses. And she gets really upset about that. She's like, well, why didn't you tell me about it? You're supposed to tell. I'm like, y'all are not even married. Y'all don't live in the same country. Why would he have to tell you what he's doing with his money? Like, I didn't understand why she was upset with that. No, he doesn't have to tell you a damn thing. You're not his wife. You don't live with him. You're just benefiting from, his profits and success and whatnot when he gets it. And girl, be quiet. Why didn't you tell me that you're going to spend that? Anywho, so they go to the coffee farm and Madeline is in a bad mood because he told her about how he spent $10,000 on these damn sunglasses. So she's really upset about that. Obviously, she's upset about that because she wants that money to go towards her, maybe to go towards her salon business, her beauty salon business. Maybe that's why she's upset. Maybe she feels like she could have convinced him to invest that money in her instead of these sunglasses. So while they're there, he's giving her a coffee massage. And he tells her that this trip that I'm on, it's not the trip where I'm going to be staying here. So I'm going to be going back in about 3 weeks. And now she's even more upset because she doesn't want to be in Colombia by herself. She wants her man with her full time. And she's upset that he's springing this on her now. Just like when he took a month to tell her that he lost his job, he also took a sweet time to tell her that he's not going to be staying in Colombia. So she's upset about that. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. And I really don't care about Luke and Madeline and whatever issues they're going through. It's tough out there, girl. It's really tough out there. So I need her to start with her exit plan. Okay. I need her. This man is keeping secrets from you. He's telling you really important information at the very last minute. He's going broke or whatever. You need to find an exit plan and you need to learn how to become a little bit more independent, Madeline. And that's my review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.